Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching, and the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they are right, what they are wrong, and how it could have been better. That's typically what we do, but when there's a Friday the 13th on tap, we got to switch it up a little bit. We called in our hall pass. We are covering... We had 3 left that we could discuss, and me and Jamie decided the other ones, it'd be really cool to talk to somebody on. Not like it wouldn't if somebody talks to us from Friday the 13th, 2009. Not like we wouldn't talk to him because there's a few of the ladies in this I would talk to, but I would talk to everybody in this movie. But it would be cool to go back and talk to somebody who worked on 2 and 3 because they were monumental in the franchise. The first time you see Baghead, you see like grown Jason, and then the first time you see the hockey mask. So a lot of fun with those. But wow, before I talk about, I thought this movie was in New Jersey because all of the accents for the people that are non-main characters make me feel like I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas. But before I talk about anything, I got to introduce you to my partner in this sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Doug. How are you doing?
Tired. Long day. But you know what it is? When we do this, it's fun. It's always special talking to any movie sequel with you. But when it comes to Friday the 13th, because just a few weeks ago, we went to the Mahoning Drive-In, which I have not had a chance to write. I want to pen a love letter to that drive-in because that was one of the greatest nights of my life because it was really culmination of being a kid that loves movies. Seeing a movie in the movie theater was like always my favorite thing as a kid, but seeing it with the sky and the stars above it, it's like something special. What do you think?
Yeah, that was my first drive-in as well, so it definitely was a cool experience. But I'm glad we saw those movies then because my feeling on this movie, I feel like it's not a Friday. I mean, granted, yes, it's Jason, the story and everything else, but he does a lot of non-Jason things in this movie, and I just feel like...
what do you mean? Take motorcycle keys?
Well, take motorcycle keys. Like he kills locals. Like he goes to locals, the houses of, the local people and kills them there. Like he doesn't do that in the other movies, unless, Egan could correct me later. And he runs. I mean, he runs hard. Like, so I don't like it. Just, this would be a good movie if it wasn't a Friday the 13th and it was just a typical hikers in the woods and you got a crazy guy living in the cabin killing everybody. That's what the movie should have been. I don't like it as a Friday the 13th.
All right. Well, I'm not going to say too much more before we bring in our horror sequel expert. But what I do like about this, and it's kind of cool that we just covered Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I know that's like more meta, and it was cool that the way that Wes like did all those callbacks to the original film. This one was pretty cool too because I think they did that, unless they just got lazy with the writing. But there were so many like, hey, let's use this kill from another movie. So maybe whoever wrote this was like, oh, let me put these things in here a little bit.
Before you get to our guest, I mean, listen, there are definitely some cool things. I mean, I think the whole beginning was great because they did a very fast recap of 1 and 2, kind of, so like that was cool. Again, they were good aspects. I just feel like, again, I guess they try to make Jason their own, kind of thing. And it just, I'm maybe just because I like the old Jason and how all those movies are. So I just think it would have been better as a separate movie. Not to mention, I hated pretty much 98% of the characters in this movie.
Oh, 2%?
Well, I like the guy looking for his sister. He's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he is cool. And you know who else is cool? Our horror sequel expert. I couldn't name all the sequels that he's covered. Definitely some really terrible ones and then some fun ones. Friday the 13th, he did Final Chapter with us, which was like, God, that was so long ago now. That was 3 years ago. The amazing Chris Egan. What's up, Chris?
I'm back, baby.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Definitely been a while.
Yeah, I had some good sequels on my list.
No, you did. Oh, that was fun.
Final Chapter.
That was pre-recording with video. That was a non-video one. That was just before COVID.
Just me sitting in the dark.
But yeah, so Egan, obviously you saw this. You see this, I'm sure you saw this in the theater, right?
I didn't.
I saw this with my ex on Valentine's Day.
I remember that story.
Well, not even on Valentine's. It came out. Yeah, it came out on Friday the 13th, February of 2009. I think I went the next night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eesh.
No, this was the time where I was real, and I think rightly so. I was real iffy about a lot of horror movies in this era, like the early 2000s.
You mean you didn't like the new ones that have been?
Oh, like
Sure, old school.
Halloween, Texas
What was it?
Chainsaw.
Well,
All this
that,
happened
but
at this same time, right?
Yeah, I mean Texas Chainsaw is like 03, and then Rob Zombie's
Oh,
Halloween's
Nightmare.
like
Nightmare on Elm Street.
07. That was the year after this.
Okay.
But like just this era, I wasn't real big on a lot of the stuff that was coming out. There's some for sure. There's some good stuff in this decade and in all genres. But yeah, for whatever reason, I waited till this hit DVD, and then Nicole, my now wife, and I rented it and watched it, and I had fun. I think back then I liked it way more. Which I think with each subsequent viewing over the last 15 years, my view of it has gone down. But we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Well,
this movie
funny.
was like if you had like AI write this movie, it had all of the. That's the thing I kind of liked with it. I know, Jamie, you're right. They definitely did like Jason. They wanted to make their own Jason and change some of the characteristics that we like know and love. But I do love that it was like, all right, we're gonna have a rich asshole. Yeah, like that sketch on Key and Peele. Like how they're gonna do like the next movie. It was like, all right, we're gonna have the Asian guy that's a stoner. We have the black guy who thinks he can.
Yeah,
beat
but
everybody up,
that's
like a
every
model.
Friday the 13th. They have every category.
That's what I mean. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. Like, do the same thing. I'm fine with that. Have the like the good girl, which that was a cool little thing that they did different. They did do a lot different. That kind of like made you.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But they also tried to force the 80s sex like down your throat. I mean, it literally was like
it's crazy.
so many.
That's
like,
what she's.
But no, actually, when this came out, the writer said, or the writers, I don't remember who it was now, but I remember them talking about how they wanted to kind of hit a bunch of the beats from like the first 4 films when Jason is still human. So that's why he runs in this. That's why there's the baghead. There's, we see him get the hockey mask, all that stuff. So they're kind of like, we wanted to have like sort of like a greatest hits of a few things from those early movies, and then everything else is kind of new. Which there's a lot of swings in this. Some connect and some don't.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I appreciate them trying to do something different, even if it's not a wholly successful movie. But there's worse things out there.
Let me ask you a question. So in the beginning, when they do the flashbacks and everything else, and I don't remember the first movie or the second one. I mean, I remember bits and pieces, but in this one, again, they do a quick recap of the mom, which was cool. And then you see she's mad because they let Jason drown, but he's standing there watching through the woods. Mm-hmm. He didn't drown.
I think that just plays on the whole kind of. There's that continuity disconnect in the original films that it doesn't quite make sense, and you kind of just have to hang with it. Did he drown? Is he inhuman? Did he not drown and she was mistaken? Why is he a boy and then he's a man? Now, granted,
you get past that in the old movies. You're like, it's not that important, right? You just move on to the next one. But I feel like in this one, it just like he doesn't drown, so he's still alive. He's still living with her. So why is she this angry to start killing people?
I think she's supposed to. I think she's supposed to think she thinks he's dead.
Oh, so he's not with her.
Yeah, he's a mentally challenged young man. He's out in the woods, and maybe he doesn't know how to communicate. It really doesn't make sense. Okay. It makes less sense in this than it does in the originals, because at least in the original one, you can kind of. You can just say that like when his appearance at the end of the original is just a dream, right? So Alice wouldn't know what he looks like, how old he is. So she knows the story. So that's what she's imagining. He comes out of the lake, he grabs her. It's just a dream.
Right, correct.
So by the time part 2 comes and he's an adult, he doesn't look the same as what she saw. He is grown. And I think, and it is supposed to be that he didn't actually die. His mother just thought he died and he's out living in the woods. So that's
Okay.
so then his whole killing spree starts with, avenging his mother, which is essentially what they're doing here.
Correct.
And fun fact, because I'm a Trekkie, the woman playing Mrs. Voorhees in the flashback in this is from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Her name's
like a main character.
Oh yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah. Her real name is Nana Visitor, and she was Kira Nerys on.
Wait. That's
Deep
her
Space
real
Nine.
name.
I
That's
know
not
her
Star Trek
name sounds like a Star Trek name.
Yeah. It's spelled like Nana, like Nana, but it's pronounced like Nana
Okay.
Visitor. Yeah.
And her Star Trek name is like Elizabeth Williams.
Her Star Trek name's Kira Nerys.
All right, that sounds less Star Trekky than the whatever.
Oh man, but so let's get into this movie. So it's so funny, like when it comes to like Platinum Dunes, you get Michael Bay. Like you seeing his name, you're just like, but nothing. Nothing. Does something blow up at the end? No, right? So no big
Just that dock.
explosions. Well, he was
Jason
tame.
explodes through the dock.
Yeah. Well, the house goes on fire. I mean, does that count?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, when they knock over, they burn little Jason's. When you see his name on that bed, that's a little trippy.
Yeah. I got questions about that house. So
all right. So we kind of covered a lot of the flashbacks to the original. You get these scenes, they reshot them. Like Egan said, Nana was Mrs. Voorhees in those flashbacks. And this movie's the first 23 minutes, man. Some really familiar faces too, especially like Ben Feldman, because this is like pre anything. Superstore wasn't on until probably like 2014, 2015. So he wasn't, right? Is that the guy from Superstore?
I think so. I never watched that, but
I never did either.
Was it right before? This is right before he's on Mad Men, right? Am I crazy?
Oh, was he on Mad Men? Oh, I didn't watch that.
I watched that back in the day. I was
Yeah.
obsessed.
Okay, so he's in more than the stuff I think, but he was like,
there's definitely a handful of familiar faces in this opening sequence. Yeah.
So, and you're right. I mean, it goes very fast. I mean, there's so much going on, but it seems like a very awkward trip because you got two couples and one single guy.
I mean,
wouldn't that be like an awkward kind of trip? Like, because clearly exactly what happens.
A few times.
Have you? Oh, okay.
No. In the movies, we've gotten that a few times.
Oh yeah, okay. It just felt like again they literally did exactly what I expected the other two couples to do, and this poor guy is punching the clown in the woods. So,
yeah, he is. Yeah. Well, no. Their whole plan. Could you imagine your friends? Hey, let's go camping, and it's like, oh, I know this great spot. It's like, oh no, I know this great spot, and then they're really taking them to the spot. So again, these guys are all dead. None of them survived. But like these guys killed their friends, essentially, putting them into harm's way over just weed. Somehow they figured out where some weed was. They were using like an old like a GPS tracker, and that's how they were figuring out where it was. And it's
that tracker looked like it could have been on Star Trek.
or like Ghostbusters, like do.
But
yeah,
my thing was this. Forget Jason, right? They don't know about Jason. All right, there's no talk of anything like that really until the one character he brings up the thing about the
story, which no one ever heard of.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So
I know.
So no one's scared, right? But let's say you know about this giant pot field in the middle of nowhere. You think maybe there's guys with guns watching that pot field?
Oh, I know.
Now in this, granted, we learned that like those guys are like they're like long dead, probably killed by Jason. So literally no one's there. But in real life terms,
easily
there would be some dudes that are gonna kill you if you find it.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's a Southern thing. So it's like they wrote this script, and whoever wrote it,
this movie,
and
not
forgot. and totally forgot. Oh shit! This is supposed to be New Jersey. I know the scenery's never going to be the same because they'll never do that. Because outside the first one, everything else is like California, Alabama, like all these different spots. But like the fact that they had like Southern accents, and then now Egan, that makes sense. Like that was like my dad used to watch some show on that. People like they're protecting their weed crops. It was like one of those wacky shows, but it was like. what a silly kind of storyline to have. And that's why I thought Jason, maybe he was involved with the cartel, because the first like group of people he killed,
you thought that was Jason's weed crops?
That was
Jason's.
He's just out there eating it.
Yeah, he kills that other poor guy in front of his. Can we say girlfriend?
No, there's a lot.
You know what I had well, I guess we'll get to him. But I had the thought during that first scene where I guess we'll get to it briefly. That hick in the woodshed starts talking to Padalecki, and he's like, "Hey, you want to buy some weed?" And I'm like, in any of your old sequels, this would be funny. Like it'd be a quirky character. There'd be maybe a little silly music cue. This guy's just fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Everyone is
because it's
every
that
character.
It's that era of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Everyone's a piece of shit, or everyone's annoying, and there's no like real sense of humor to it. It's just, we're gonna make this guy dumb and annoying, so Padalecki doesn't like him, and then when he dies 20 minutes later, you don't give a shit.
Right.
Whereas like a lot of the goofy characters in the old ones, whether or not you like them as a character, you're still like, ooh, they got it. Like, ooh,
correct.
Yeah. You feel. Well,
I think
bad
in the old ones, there's a little innocence to that.
Yeah,
to them, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like again, look at the rich guy who meets the biker for 2 seconds. He's already a dick. Like in seconds. Like, so you're already like, again, everybody like really just, again, they gave everybody an annoying, like you don't care if anyone dies in this movie. You really don't.
Yeah. Yep. And he's the one, I guess he's the one Michael Bay connection outside of the director. Because
which one? The rich kid?
Trent. Because he's also in the first Transformers movie. He's Megan Fox's boyfriend. Wait for it. Also named Trent.
Is there a connection?
My headcanon, he's the same person. He lived through a Transformer attack just to get killed by Jason like 2 years later.
That's funny.
He plays a great dick. He's on
he's like a piece of shit.
Recent, like the last 25 years, he plays a great asshole. Whenever you see him show up, it's always great. Like he always, even in You season 3, he is so good in that season.
Oh, I didn't even know he was in that.
Oh, that's him from You?
Yeah, he's the swinging couple from the neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's still getting work, because I thought he was kind of dried up after like this era, like because I looked at his not his IMDb, I looked at his letterbox, so it just shows his movies, not TV.
It seems he plays the same role in every movie though.
Yeah, he's like a dickbag in like 20 horror movies.
Sign me up. I'll play a dick in every movie. Or
he's the new Johnny from the 80s.
Yeah,
which is what's his last name?
Zapka.
Zapka. Yeah.
So another canon issue, like the other movies, like when time jumps and stuff, when he's telling that story, he says, this was 20 years ago. When that guy with the glasses.
Yeah, I think it's, he's speaking in loose terms, because it does say 1980 at the beginning of the movie. So it would have been, it was only like 20.
Well, it's 2009.
Yeah, but the Survivor. Okay,
29 years, but
yeah, I got it. I'm like, wait, 20 years? That's like.
But again, I find it hard to believe only one person knows the story.
Oh, I know.
But it's I guess it's it's one of those things that like in real life we don't talk in formalities, we don't talk in specifics all the time, right? So if I say, hey, this is 20 years ago, but it was really 24 years ago, you still get what I'm saying.
I call you on it, Egan. That's how I am.
But I feel
it's gotta be.
I see it all the time when people like are nebbing each other, nitpicking over like lines in movies online, and I'm like, not everyone talks in factual specifics in real life, so you don't have to expect it in every movie,
right?
So you just take it as a general, this was 20 years ago, it happened, whatever.
Gotcha.
He should have been closer, but
he dies for it.
But I love that he's like explaining it, and then he's like, "I'm pretty sure the place was called Camp Crystal Lake," which we know. And then you had like the great like the banter's good again. It's I don't know. It's like what to expect, like the way the characters speak and the way they interact with each other, and it's like comforting. Because it's not like they really tried to reinvent the wheel too much, really just with Jason, but everything else is fine. Over sexualized. You have the one girl that just like is smoking hot, and she's like, "Yeah, let me do that. Let me just like start getting naked, rubbing lotion all over me." Right when my buddies, this guy is a single guy here. Yeah, let me give him something to think about. Like right when he's like right there, you can turn around like that, and she doesn't care.
I have a comment. And I'm not, you guys know me, and I know a lot of people out there listening don't. I'm never one to body shame, and I don't talk negatively. What the fuck is up with her tits? I know they're fake.
Oh,
but
bad
like,
job.
Holy shit, she needs her money back. Like nothing about what she's doing. And let's say I've seen this movie 10 times over the 15. I don't even know if it's that many times, but every time I'm like, no, thank you.
You know what I think is because of the tent scene, it makes it look better when you see the shadow.
That first time she takes her shirt off,
that
lighting, the lighting on her is so bad.
Oh yeah,
it makes it look like she's got like paper mache boulders. Like they look so horribly
like it was a 8th grade science project.
Yeah. So every time I'm like, I feel so bad that like they made like, and then it make her take her.
Well, listen, when you watch a lot of these 80s horror movies, you do see a lot of that. I mean,
you see those big natties in the 80s.
You do, but you do see a lot of the fakes.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway,
so Whitney's
ladies out there with fake tits.
Well, no, if they're a good job, hey, there's good doctors out there.
Sure,
and there's not so good doctors. Somebody's got to barely pass med school.
A lot of time has passed since 2009.
A lot of improvements.
So Whitney's boyfriend, I didn't catch his name because he was in the movie for too long, but he convinces her to stay because she wants to leave because she's like, I'm getting such a bad vibe in this place, which she obviously turns out she was right with her vibe. But he says, let's have sex in a cramped tent, get wasted, and blow chunks in the woods. That was just like, oh, Romeo.
But I mean, how
he's got a good
sense
of humor.
They weren't there that long.
Yeah.
And they're leaving the single guy alone right away.
Oh,
like all of everybody. Like, why did he even bother go? Like that was ridiculous.
Gotta fuck.
And he's gonna walk in the woods like that by himself?
No way. I gotta get you a cock block. Yeah, you gotta go. Right? Yeah, dude. What a song to die to, Night Ranger.
Honestly, I think I really love how it kicks into him just walking and it's just, that takes over the whole sound of the film because it's we're like in the headphones with him.
He puts it in, so it's really low, and then he gets like he readjusts. It's cool when they do that.
And he walked a far way because when he was telling the other guy about the weed area, he said it's a half a mile away.
Yeah.
So he walked a half a mile into the woods.
Yep.
Oof.
No way.
Sister Christian's like only like it's like 4.5 maybe tops. Unless he was power walking.
He's power walking.
Yeah. Even when he finds it, it's like, wow, this is great. I'm like, I don't know. I would just wait till the next day. No matter what. What am I going to do?
What's he going to do?
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing.
He's just going to, he has to turn around and go back. Yeah.
But man, you see Jason. I know, again, he does different things. Very hulking. He's very like Kane Hodder-esque, like Part 7, just how he moves around. And the bandages on his head. Like bandage back because it looks obviously it's a bag, it's like a sack, but it looks like bandages. The way it's like over his face, it's pretty scary.
Well, running Jason is frightening.
Yeah,
I mean, because the guy is a big guy.
He does run in the first couple of movies. Like he really runs in Part 4, especially in he's like running
I don't
through
remember
the house and stuff. Yeah, This is different though. This is like that's like your dad chasing you. This is like. This is like the Incredible Hulk coming after you. And let me say,
outside linebacker coming at you.
This Jason has traps. I mean, like he's like a very smart Jason.
Yeah,
he's very crafty.
There's a lot here that I feel like, and so the director is Marcus Nispel. He also did the Chainsaw remake. So he's the other
Jessica Biel one.
Yeah. So that's why he was tapped to do this. And there's just. I liked what he did with that. He's doing like his own version of the sweaty, hot Texas summer, and he's trying to translate that. Which I mean, hey, you know how fucking hot it gets here.
It does. I know.
We're a different heat though. We're
just give me a packet of pork roll on the counter.
Yeah,
just give me something.
So I don't. I mean, do they say in this that it's set in New Jersey, or are we?
Yeah,
just
the plates that Ryan Hansen, the car that he steals, are New Jersey plates.
Okay,
I think it's either there or when they get to the gas station, you see on the Tahoe the plates.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
but that's it.
So what the hell was I saying? So I get what he's trying to do. But he's using. I think he's using too much of that Texas chainsaw flavoring in this. I don't really fault him for it because it's a pretty good looking movie overall. I think there's some stuff that kind of looks, of its time and not that great even then. But
again, but
the old lady at the house that like Padalecki talks to, like I said to Nicole when I had it on her, I was like, she's such a Texas Chainsaw like side character. Like she does not belong in Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, he's doing like the Leatherface stuff or like, yeah, it's not Jason. Like Jason doesn't set up like traps and stuff.
No, again, like you said, I
can appreciate this take on it though. Like I don't hate it.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
But that again, that's part of the whole thing, right? What I said, he's a listen, he was a young kid who was challenged when he was younger, and now he's got. First of all, I don't know how they get tunnels in the house like that, which is ridiculous. He's got traps everywhere. And he also has a major anger problem in this movie.
Oh my God, yeah, dude. You don't want to piss him off when you're not home and he expects you home. He gets angry.
I mean, like the other Jasons never show emotion. He shows emotion in this movie. Like he really does. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna push back on you there a little bit because, like I said, in definitely in 2 and 3, he has some emotion. Even so much in now I can't remember if it's a dream sequence or not, but in 3, there's a sequence where he lifts up the mask and smiles at the final girl, like, "Haha, I'm gonna get you."
Oh, really?
It's creepy.
I don't remember that.
It's creepy.
Really? I don't remember that either.
It might be a dream sequence, but at the same time, she's dreaming about the fact that she already had an encounter with Jason at one point in the past. That's why she's afraid to go back in that movie. It's a lot, but he definitely, there's some emotion in those early flicks, especially. And then I think like even like how we just rewatched Jason Lives, but there's even with not pulling the mask up, there's a humanity there even when he is zombie Jason. There's almost there's a
hesitation, right? There's a pause, like he's hesitates.
He thinks.
But I mean like the anger that comes out multiple times in this movie, that he's throwing things around in his house, moving the canoes, throwing he's
really, like Latimer in the program, dude. He's ready to just throw around shit.
I think one of my favorite moments in this one is when he goes down and he's talking to Whitney, or not talking to her. He's like,
he's talking, "Hey, Whitney, hey, baby."
He's checking on her that she's still there, and she pulls out the locket with his mother's picture in it, and she says his name, and he looks at her like a recognition.
Because no one ever calls his name, and it happens twice in this movie. Yeah, and happens at the end too.
Yeah, and the reason he's kidnapped her is because
looks like his mom
sort of resembles his mother, which is a thing from the other ones. Yeah, but
it's like you call back to the second one. So it's like, hey, I'm gonna kidnap my mom.
Yeah, I really like the little glance down that he does though, like this, like it's like a shock that he's hearing his own name.
Oh, when he's like looking at when he's looking at the locket,
because you could tell it's like part of him knows it's not his mom.
Correct.
So and that's the part that's like, like I'm gonna like he's like almost like tilting his head like a dog does.
But he's smart enough again to kidnap, chain to the bed, that's so not Jason.
And set up a bell system.
I'm trying to think of like what that reminds me of, because it's not really. It's a little bit of Leatherface, But I feel like there's something else out there that they're pulling from that
It just seems like a typical killer in the woods, you know,
maybe
and
like
that's
the trap or like one of those.
Yeah,
movies.
I mean that's really what it is, and I mean throw Jason in there, but yeah, I mean, but like again the tunnels. Mm-hmm. This cabin's in the middle of the woods, and there were like multiple areas they could run around in the tunnels. How big is that? And how do those tunnels get there? Ridiculous.
I don't know. Something they could have mentioned. I don't know what they could have thrown in, but the fact that they, Whitney and her boyfriend are going into like, again, they see Camp Crystal. Hey, isn't that part of the story? And then they go into the house. They see the Jason on the bed, but I'm just like, and they keep walking around. She's like, oh, this is kind of weird. It's like, well, could you imagine walking? Like as soon as I would see anything that looks remotely like recent, and honestly, I would never walk into a random house.
I was going to say, would you ever, if you find you're camping, like we went to Camp Blood, even at Camp Blood, it was and you saw a house in the back, you're going to walk into it in the middle of the night? You wouldn't wait till like the morning? Like, no way.
I don't know how to answer that because part of me is like, hell yeah, I'm going in.
Really?
Oh, I'm too much of I'm too much of a scaredy cat now. Like being a dad, I don't want anything to happen. Emerson was like, "Do you want to go skydiving?" I'm like, "No, no, I don't know."
Do you like haunted houses?
Like attractions?
Like walking through haunted houses?
Not particularly, because I know there's like an actor that's gonna like hop out and like,
spook you,
scream at my face or slap me on
well,
the ass.
So you go into a cabin, you have the unknown that's going to be in there. So I hate haunted houses. I absolutely hate them. When I go, I put my daughter in front of me and make her go first.
Well, so just a side
great
note,
dad.
Of course.
Side note: I used to do I was on a ghost hunting team with one of the guys who eventually was on the show Ghost Hunters. But that's a whole other. Yeah. It's
wait. You were hunting ghosts?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have like the Ghostbusters thing? Like
we had like recorders, like what you see on TV.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
Interesting. Well, we'll have to discuss.
No, it wasn't my equipment. Yeah.
You know what? Can we interview Egan next time?
We might have to.
All right.
But yeah, no, honestly, if I find a way into that house, I might.
Doug, would you go in there? Would you go in a house like that?
No. Maybe I was younger because I used to put myself in bad situations, getting in the car with strangers in my 20s. You're telling me the beer's over there? I'll go in the car with you. I never met you before.
I'm more hesitant with like checking out like abandoned asylums and like hospitals and stuff as much as
that's even crazier. Like the one in Morristown.
Well, yeah,
I wouldn't even drive near it.
Part of me,
I see it. It gives me nightmares.
Well, here's the thing: is part of me is like, hell yeah, let's do this. The logical part of me is whether or not ghosts or whatever are real. I'm Mulder. I'm a skeptic that I want to believe, but whether or not ghosts are real, there's 100% like a homeless man that's gonna stab me in there.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's the worry.
There's nothing good that's gonna come out of going in there, because you find a ghost, the ghost's probably gonna kill you. You go in there, you find a homeless guy, he's gonna kill you. So you go into something like that, nothing good is gonna come out of it. So there's really no need to go in.
Yeah, I know.
No need at all. But
when I was like 19, it would have happened. Now that I'm 38,
done it.
I have a child.
Got to ease back.
I don't need to like update my will already.
Yeah, don't do that. So now after this, when they see like they get the heebie-jeebies, they see the Jason on the bed, they find the locket with the photo. Hey, this kind of looks like you should keep it. Then you cut back to the campsite, and like the silhouette of sex in the movie.
It was Austin Powers.
It was awesome. Exactly. It's so funny. Yeah.
It was so comical the way they were doing it. Like it was so forced and comical. Like, yeah.
It's like that and the was it Jason Goes to Hell, right? The tent scene. Is that Jason Goes to Hell?
Yeah, but did you see was there a silhouette like that?
Yeah.
No, but like it's like, is it? Yeah, and then like the way like Jason comes into the tent
and rips.
Oh yeah, well you see, yeah, but this is like like she's bent over and like they're giving like a full like it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's it's very graphic for a movie that's not. It's like it's weird. It's like obviously you don't see anything, but it's like all right, this is pretty serious. Like that was very serious to see that.
It was very serious.
Yeah, it's a rated R movie.
I know, but to see it in that, it'd be like honestly, if they showed more, it's like one of those things like you be like, okay, this is what's happening, but then your mind runs wild when you're not seeing it and you're like you're filling in the shadow.
Maybe I think it's almost worse. Like honestly, I think, the way they did it.
Always.
That decade's weird for stuff like that, because now I feel like we're moving away from like sex scenes and stuff, which there's actually a lot of articles about that, like how like we're becoming more like even like younger generations, we kind of want to see like they want to see less sex in movies. They kind of just want to see.
Well, they're not having sex because they don't go to parties or doing it.
Yeah, they're not cool. They just want to
still go out. They don't interact that way. They interact.
Yeah, like, they want to see the story unfold. They don't really care about sex.
Who cares
scenes.
About stories?
Yeah, but think about like think about like the '90s and like every other movie was like a sexual thriller, right? Everyone's fucking getting stabbed. Whether it's a horror movie or not, it could be like I think your parents would come, like especially like me and Doug's age, like our parents would come home.
Whoa,
I know you're a little older. You're
okay, a little. But you don't say it like that.
Few years older, yeah.
Well, I mean, in the '90s, were you like sitting home with your parents, like waiting for movie rentals?
No, I was partying in college.
Exactly. So my point is like they don't make movies for like adults anymore. It's either like, and look, I love these fucking movies, and I think there's too much negative rhetoric, but like the Marvelization of things, like everything is kind of like it's fun, it's kind of for all ages, and maybe there's like one scary moment. But they don't make like sexual thrillers anymore. They
don't make good movies anymore. It's superhero. I mean, like it's I mean
that's that's obviously it's a generalization that you can make, but like there's a lot of good stuff out there, but it's harder to find.
That's what I mean. Yeah, well, this is also why I was watching a movie from 1950 last night. So,
but it's like they try to make these like mid-level budget films now, but instead of putting them in theaters, they go like right to Netflix, and they're either fine but you forget about them the next day, or they're like absolute pieces of shit and you definitely forget about them the next day, and like you're not talking about them the way that like I think about the movies I saw in the theater like in the 90s, even as a kid, like because my parents would take us to almost anything as long as it wasn't like something insane, but like I saw like David Fincher's The Game in theaters. I was 10 years old. Like my parents just took me to stuff like, and I would see like all these and that's a great movie. But even like these like mid-level movies for adults, they don't exist anymore. And
well, I think part of it is because TV shows, miniseries are big now, right? So like all the creativity is going to TV shows, not so much into the movies.
Yeah. So between like 2000 and 2010, like right where this movie falls, you almost get like, and it comes with like a lot of like the torture porn and such as well. You get this like oversaturation of violence and oversaturation of sex, but it's done in like such an over the top way that like now it's like, ooh, that's graphic, but you're not taking it seriously like you would like a Silence of the Lambs or like a Basic Instinct or something. And even Basic, that's a very campy flick, but like so like this era is it's like they almost went so hard on like the graphic side that it kind of like came around the other side to like not mean anything.
No, it felt very forced.
Yes, and there's a lot of negative shit from this era too. There's like a lot of homophobia, and it's like sure there's that stuff in like the 80s and 90s and like I'm not going to use the F slur, but like that was in like every other teen movie in the 80s. Like guys calling each other the F slur, and and it was like, but it was like, and it's obviously it's wrong, but it's like playful homophobia. If you get what I'm saying, like there wasn't as much harm meant by it as there was in like the late 90s, early 2000s, where you just see like really it's just mean spirited, and that's where I really fall off on this movie. And there's not really homophobia in this, but like the whole movie is mean spirited, and while it doesn't touch on some of the things I just brought up, I feel like it's like sort of an encapsulation of this whole decade of movie, and it's like. It's a mess, and it's just like angry. And I guess, it's the whole like post 9/11 thing where like we were just mad all the time, or like we were trying to like vent our feelings in ways that weren't healthy. And it comes out in like every movie, no matter what the genre is. And it's this too. It's like, it's like hostile, everything's just mean and nasty and you want everyone to die. And I don't even know if I made a point just now, but I tried. And...
Well, I think it's a combination of say that plus they're trying to recreate what was already done with Friday the 13th, right? They're big shoes to fill. So, by throwing in these sex scenes and throwing in these hated characters and throwing in and so I think it becomes a big mishmash because it just doesn't.
They're playing on those tropes, but it's
correct.
Like, it's not. They're not doing it the same way.
They're doing it in a much different way. Correct. I agree 100%. So
it's like instead of like laughing at stuff or feeling like when I throw on like a Friday the 13th, sure, there's deaths that like upset me. Like no matter how many times I watch like Part 4, for example, like I don't want Crispin Glover to get like a knife in the face. So
the guy that eats the chocolate and what's his name? The chocolate guy.
Part 5.
Yeah, I don't want him to die. He was,
but like I put those movies on, they're comfort horror, right? You put them on, you chill. Maybe you're watching them alone. Maybe you watch them with friends, whatever. Like when we were at the drive-in, I had a fucking blast watching those with you guys because they're fun, and we just hung out and I don't want to watch this movie with you guys. I thought maybe I like. So for example, like when this came out, I kind of really dug it. I was like, ooh, it's a new Jason. It's violent. It's scary. If Letterboxd existed in 2009, I probably would have given it a 4 out of 5. But today I went and I logged it at like a 2 or 2.5. So
take that, Friday the 13th.
There's stuff in it I like, but it's not doing the same thing. And it's not even like, I'm not saying it has to do the same thing, but they hit it wrong.
It didn't feel like.
Let's discuss more of it because we're at 41 minutes and we didn't even get to the title screen yet.
The piano is out of key and they're hitting the wrong note.
And Doug, it's crazy because like so much happened before the title.
Oh no,
screen.
I know. No, I know.
It's crazy.
I hit the pause button. It's 24 minutes when the title screen. It's like 23 minutes and 57
greatest
seconds.
one ever.
When he started going on the killing spree,
screen.
I was like, what else is left? Like I really like I didn't know like there's a whole other story going on because I don't remember this movie, and so yeah.
That's why it's good to, like, if you didn't see a trailer and just blindly went to the movie theater, like, oh, I want to see the so it's sold out. I'm going to see this one. It would be like very trippy, and just to, like get to the characters and everything. We get like Amanda, I think her name is, the brunette with the bad boob job. She gets like cooked over the after they're done banging, or in the middle banging, she thinks the nerdy guy who just died is in the woods, like peeping and making sounds. She's like, oh yeah, he's still out there. So Ben Feldman goes out. Oh my God, dude. That's rough. When he finds his buddy's ear attached to the
headphone.
Yeah. That's good. Well, it's pretty good.
But I think the girl had one of the worst deaths I've ever seen in Friday the 13th. I mean, she was cooked. Cool. She was cooked alive. I mean, that's awful.
She was she was definitely a little burnt. And then we get, like we talked about, like this Jason obviously does so many different things. When Ben Feldman sees it, he's like, oh my God, he's walking and he steps in a bear trap. So Jason's not only has a bell system, tunnels, stealing keys, he's also setting traps. Like he did that. Like, where is that? He hung her up and then ran over and placed it. Oh, it was a good spot. It was a good one.
I think that's where you get the two different tones, because I feel like the sleeping bag over the fire, while brutal, that falls in line more along something he would do. Especially, I feel like Kane Hodder's Jason would do something like
Part
that.
7, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden you get the bear trap, and that's where kind of the switch flips, and you're getting this new version.
Yeah, has Jason ever in the past set a trap or no?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't think there's anything.
No, not that I can remember. But again, it's like the gross, like Egan was saying, the hostels, Terestas, like let's gross you out. Like seeing that leg, I wouldn't need to see that. Even if he was just screaming, zooming on his face. There's sometimes like when you don't see the kill, and you're forming your own worse. Like what? Yeah, dude, give me the blood getting thrown on the wall or something. But so man, and then how about the way he kills her? Like you get Whitney coming back. After her boyfriend, oh my God!
So let me ask you, how do you open a bear trap? How does it open? Because she seemed to struggle with it, and so I don't know. Like
it's very
like
strong.
There's a thing.
Lever, right? Well,
you almost different ones.
You have to use 3 points. I think you have to use your foot to
And
hit
really?
the step and then
pry
pull
it
open.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But if you don't do it
Then
right, it's
people
going to
get
snap
out of
right
it.
back.
It's either gonna snap right back, or you're just struggling with it, just causing more pain.
Okay, I wouldn't. I don't even want to touch a mouse trap.
Oh yeah.
So let alone a bear trap.
I know.
I'd be like, we're waiting till someone
100%.
finds us.
Yeah. No, frightening.
Or you know what? You're not going to make it. That's
Mhm.
it.
We're taking the leg.
But Whitney's boyfriend, man, that one thing that's cool, like the machete kills in this movie, like it going through the floor, and it's like run, get higher, get higher, and then when you think like he's gonna make it, and it goes right through his chest, and you're like, oh my god, dude, it looked good.
Just coming through all the when it's like coming through the floor. And all I'm thinking is like the you're getting like the worst paper cuts of all time. Which is like such a like a minimalist like way of thinking about it, but like that's all I think. It's like, oh, it's like going like between his fingers and stuff, and you're like, that's like way worse to me than like getting like an axe in the back or whatever.
Well, you know, they say that
so
could be
slow.
More painful because it also cuts more nerves when you're cutting across.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're getting stabbed, it goes through. But if you get like sliced, or like a paper cut, it's cutting more nerves. So there you go. Paper cut hurts more than getting axe in the head.
Look at that. I like it.
Oh, and by the way, his aim is ridiculous in this movie.
Oh,
between the axe, the arrow. I mean, like, come on.
He's been hunting.
Well, he's like perfect in arrows. That's like part 3 when he kills Bernie Lomax's girlfriend. He has great accuracy.
Ridiculous.
He's been hunting since 1980.
That's true.
I guess, but
he's a little wild boy.
He has perfect axe.
I mean, the throw with the axe is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was, and just the setup to it, just the way he like held it back for like a step, and like there was like form to it, like he practiced.
Oh,
it wasn't like, hey, this is the first time I'm doing this. He's done this many times.
Doug, if you put a dummy out there the same distance and you throw an axe 500 times, I don't think you're going to land it once.
Oh, I want to do that. I want to try that.
I don't think you're landing it once.
I'll get the redneck guy's dummy.
What, another mannequin that someone's...
Hey, she's single now, right? She's on the market. But yeah, so just to get to the title card, like that guy dies at the house. He gets the machete through the chest, and then Whitney comes back. Everybody's dead except Ben Feldman's just struggling, and dude, his is crazy. And it's like, why would he not hit her with the machete through the head? Dude, and that looked amazing.
Well, she also didn't say anything. Cool. She saw him. Him. He's there struggling, and she was silent. Like she didn't say, "Look behind you." Nothing.
Yeah, just self-preservation.
That's smart. Yeah, she's like, you know what? I'm not gonna get you the bear trap, so you're screwed anyway. So if I warn you, what are you gonna do? Turn over for a little bit and get it in the second swipe?
Yeah, that's a great practical effect with the machete in the face. I'm assuming it's a practical effect. It kind of looks like a dummy when it goes through.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Legolas.
So now we're at the title card. It's like, whoa, my god! And then it's like, oh, we meet the real cast. Fine, and again, you get like great casting for this time. You know, Supernatural was already on for a few seasons by now, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It must have been,
it's
So
like season 4 or 5 at this
point.
Okay.
That was the girl. The girl was from Shark with what's his name?
Danielle Panabaker.
Yeah. She was on. She was
also in Piranha 3 Double D that we covered.
Yep. But James Woods. James Woods' daughter in Shark.
Oh yeah. We talked about that when we did Piranha 3. Yep. I think you brought that up too.
Yep.
And she was a main cast member on The Flash when that was on. So she had 9 seasons of that.
What show?
You said The Flash.
Oh, okay. I never watched that. But no, she's good. I like her. I'm surprised I didn't see her in like more movies. I don't know. Obviously, she's on a show for 9 years. That's pretty good.
She really does a lot more TV than film.
All right. Ryan Hansen, you get? I think he's always been funny in like stuff that he's been like in. What was the one with? Oh man, they're bringing it back too when they did like they were working at the catering company. Him, Adam Scott.
Oh
God, it was
yeah.
on Stars for like
God.
2 seasons. It's like one of those shows that got like so much love after it was off the air.
People are screaming right now.
What?
I said people are screaming right now because I can't think of the title.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know what it is. But anyway,
Okay,
so really
Party
good.
Down.
Jane Lynch,
Party Down.
Party Down, yeah. So we have a lot of people.
We have a very similar situation here. We have looks like 2 couples again,
Mhm.
and then the Asian guy who's bringing 1,000 condoms. There's
Well, then 2 guys. Then you get 2 single bros. 2 single bros are gonna hang out.
right, and he has all the condoms. The Asian guy.
That's really weird. Yeah, I don't know why you do that. Where did Trent say his place was? It's a cabin on a lake with nothing else around.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
okay, he seems so anal at his house. Why would he bring fraternity people to his house when he's worried about the feet on the table, the drinks on, the no coasters? Like he was like he should have known better. That I know he wanted to show off his house, but
that's what it was. He wanted to show off
okay,
Danielle
but
Panabaker to like show, hey, I can be cool. Because remember when she puts him on the spot? Oh yeah, you could take the
she
tile.
calls him out.
Yeah,
I guess
she calls him out on exactly what his mindset is.
Yeah,
he wants to show off the house, the lake, the boat, and hope that nothing goes wrong.
Well, you know what's funny? Like they don't seem to respect him. Like they really do everything he says not to do, and like he comes across as he's like the leader of them. You know, because he's like the rich. But really, like
rich prick,
none of them, I think, respect him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that they've probably all been friends for a while, and when you've got like that guy in the friend group that's always like trying to boss people around, you eventually stop listening because it gets annoying. Which is, I think that's fully what the one guy does with the boat.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
He's
Ryan Hansen didn't seem like he cares at all.
Yeah.
You know what? As soon as he said, "Don't take the boat," you know what my first thought was? I'm going to take that boat. And then the last person I didn't mention, Willa Ford, who was like, she had a number 1 song on like TRL, like no joke, like that must have been water.
Which one was Willa Ford?
She was the blonde. She was the one with Ryan Hansen.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. And I can't believe she gets nude in that. I remember seeing this in the movie theater and be like, "Oh my god, Willa Ford!" And then she got nude. I'm like, "That's crazy." I'm like 5 years before she had the number 1 song on TRL. I'm sure her album did great. Maybe she just didn't have a good follow up. It's like, and now she's naked in a movie, which is fine. Your choice to do it. But it was like really shocking to see this person get naked.
And I didn't know she was such a professional wakeboarder.
That was insane. Why would you? Why would you try that?
Like I know her name, but I did not know she was a singer or anything.
Yeah.
I feel like right after high school is like I have this like outside of most like movie knowledge, I have this like weird pop culture just like drop. Like I just didn't give a shit, especially with like music. So yeah, I had no idea who she was, but I did have a conversation about her tits as well with my wife.
Oh, nice.
I didn't really care for them that much because I wasn't sure if they were real or not.
I think they were fake. They look kind of fake.
And Nicole, really? That's what I said because Nicole was like, "Oh, they look pretty good." I'm like, "Yeah, but her nipples are small, which means they're fake." And she goes, "They still look good." And then we also had a conversation about her death, which is
great.
Nicole's least favorite part of the movie because the crunch sound. Of not her death, but the boat hitting her in the head.
Oh, that was rough. That whole scene was rough.
It's rough.
I thought it was going to get grosser though. I thought she was going to get chopped up by the motor, like the
propeller or something.
I think just getting hit by the hull.
Oh yeah,
is so. It's so much worse because you almost expect the propeller. So when the boat just comes by and just bonks her in the head, and you know her skull is cracked.
Right.
Like, if she doesn't go to a hospital, she is going to die. So when you just hear like the boat hit her, that's when Nicole was like, "Oh, I hate this part every time you watch this movie." I'm like, "What is it?" I was like, "It's the head hitting the boat, right?" She goes, "Yeah."
So it wasn't the fake boobs on the wakeboard. It was the hitting the head.
No, she liked the fake boobs. She preferred the fake boobs.
Okay.
Over me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Solid.
She's gonna.
So the sheriff, another guy that's solid actor at this point. The sheriff is a good guy.
Have you ever seen a cop with like sunglasses on?
Yeah.
In all these movies, the cops always wear sunglasses. Like they come over like they're a cool tough guy. Like I've never seen a cop with sunglasses.
Yeah, no, it's not as often. It always is a trope of the asshole cop.
You've seen it, Chris? You said?
Oh, sure. Like, you're on like the turnpike and someone gets pulled over.
And they get out of the car. They leave the sunglasses on.
Oh, I don't know. I guess
that's what I'm talking about.
Or you know what? I've seen them like take them off when they're talking to you, so they can look you in the eye. And
I've never.
you.
Yeah, they always have to have that tough guy look with the sunglasses and leave them on all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I got pulled over. I got pulled over last year, and it was a woman cop, and she had sunglasses on, not aviators, not the reflective aviators, but just like Ray-Bans or whatever. And she popped them on top of her head to talk to me. You know
why I pulled you over?
At least she's lifting it.
Because I was going 45 and a 25. That's why she pulled me
over. Egan.
Yeah. I was hungry.
Try 25. Save lives. Free ad for that campaign. But so that guy, he's on like Desperate Housewives. He was Terry Hatcher's husband on that. He was also in Hostel 2, which is sort of around the same time. And but dude, the fact that, again, like we didn't even get, and we talked about a lot of it, but like movie wise, it didn't even get to it yet when it comes to like the southernness of this movie. But even like this first line, the cop insults his team, saying, "You think we're a bunch of dumb hicks?" When he's talking to Clay that don't know nothing. I'm like, New Jersey hicks? Like right off the bat, they wrote this script for something else. Maybe it was penned as a different slasher, and they put, added Jason.
You've been to South Jersey, right?
But that's not New Jersey.
Like Southwest.
No,
Jersey.
I know. Yeah.
It doesn't look like this, but there's some vibes of this for sure.
Yeah, but not people talking with a drawl. There's people that have summer teeth and stuff, but like not anything.
Even in Homedale and stuff.
I think out by where you.
No,
live,
I have friends from Homedale. That's why
there's some quite rural spaces.
Yeah. It's definitely the demographics are changing.
Again,
definitely
it
not as rednecky as I would think. But
you do come across I think there's a much larger, to the world out there. There's a much larger like redneck country section of New Jersey than most people realize. Because everyone thinks
they're less densely populated. Because that helps.
Everyone thinks New Jersey is just Newark from top to bottom.
Yeah. So this movie, again, in the era, a lot of like corny black jokes. Like why are you saying that? Because I'm black. And it reminded me of like all around this time, because they did it in Varsity Blues, and then they made fun of it in Not Another Teen Movie, which is, I know, a few years prior to this film. But you get a lot of that, and it's just like it's like beats a dead horse each time they did it. That's the one thing I
did laugh though when she said what kind of music, and he goes, rap.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it was kind of funny. I mean, like if he didn't say that, then fine. But because I was feeling the same way. But once he said that, I was like, all right, it's pretty funny.
I was actually going to bring up that scene. It's like they're getting it out of the way. Like they know a lot of people are expecting it, so we're going to get out of the way. I don't really care for it because like maybe you could have just left it out altogether. But I do like that they're kind of making fun of it in their own way.
Correct.
Because I do feel like after kind of that point on, everyone in this movie, everyone's kind of interchangeable. Like nothing about him is a quote unquote black character. He's not a stereotype.
Yeah, and he's not killed first.
Right. He's not doing anything like there's nothing stereotypical. There's nothing stereotypical about the Asian guy. They're all just a bunch of buds hanging out, and everyone's interchangeable, which I actually really like. And honestly, because he could have been the one guy smoking pot, right? It could have been like, oh, the black guy's smoking weed, but everyone's passing the bong around. Everyone's drinking.
It was a typical fraternity group.
Everyone's right. Everyone's the same. Like everyone's just chilling, doing their thing, and there's no. And that's one thing I actually do like about this movie is that for pros and cons, there's everyone's interchangeable.
Yeah. And Jason doesn't see color. He'll kill everyone. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about order of operations or anything for old school, maybe some of the old horror rules. So at the same time, Clay, this is when he's like, they had their run in at the gas station. And Trent was an asshole to him right away about the flyers, which is like
okay. Trent is like now. Clay looks like he's about 5 inches taller than Trent. He's like a big dude. Like, he's like he's really going to be talking so much smack to this guy who he doesn't even know. Like that, and he's lucky, like Clay, who seemed like a nice guy. Like he was like very calm, whatever he does, just look for his sister. But I mean, like in the real world, he probably would have pounded Trent in about 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And again, just how much of a dick he was right away. And then later on, like, oh, shouldn't you be passing your little fly? Like the guy lost his sister.
I know.
Like, no matter what, even if it was any kind of flag of something missing, like a pet, still messed up. But
don't
like,
say shit.
Yeah, just like
it's
weird.
next level douchebaggery.
They played his rich like douchiness, to the high level.
Yeah. And I feel like they did a good job cutting these characters together to kind of make everyone kind of look relatively around the same height, because I just looked, Jared Padalecki he's an inch shorter than Derek Mears, who plays Jason. He's humongous.
Oh wow.
Who's that? That's Clay?
Jared Padalecki.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I said he's a tall guy, so like
he's 6'4" and Derek Mears is 6'5".
Okay. So yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, he could have beat him into pace
multiple times in this movie. So, which is maybe why later on when he leaves with his girlfriend, he doesn't even do anything. So,
right? Yeah.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. See ya. So Clay at this point, this is when he's doing more. He goes to the lady that looks like, if you ever saw Monsters Inc., she looks like the lady that works at Monsters Inc.
Mike Wazowski.
I was getting from the other Friday the 13th with her and Junior. Which was
Ethel?
Cooking? Yeah, well, it lived in the same town.
Yeah,
I see a little Ethel.
I can see it. Maybe that was a good amount. It'd be great if there was a Junior in the thing. Just a line, and that's it.
Yeah.
Or Stu.
I'm making you slop,
making a big pot. Yes, something like that. To Clay.
Just shut up.
But it was very eerie. If somebody said, "Oh, my sister went missing," "Oh, she went missing here," she's not missing. She's dead. And it's like, oh, that's a little.
And then she slowly walks away, and shuts the door.
Just shuts the door.
That's how you leave it. I'm gonna do that next time. Like somebody that knocks on my door, like trying to sell something. I'm gonna say something very ominous and just walk away.
And slowly walk away.
That'd be good. And then
just don't say they're dead.
Yeah, exactly. Just something like that. Freak them out. But Trent, again, there's some weird lines that people say. And if you're the person on the receiving end of the line, you'd be like, what the hell are you? How do you even come to this? He says a line to her when they're like because she goes, oh, why'd you invite them here if you're just so annoyed with them? And then he's like, oh, I just want to hang out with you. She goes, you want to go for a hike? He goes, I have a new move I've been practicing and I need someone to try it on. So who is he practicing it on? And they never banged. I don't know how long they've been dating, but the way she pulled away, it was like, yeah, I'm not really that into you.
She left him in 2 seconds. I mean, like wasn't.
Yeah. It's either like a sort of new. It doesn't seem that way. I was gonna say it's either a sort of new relationship, and they haven't done anything yet, and that's why he's so quick to get with the other girl, and clearly doesn't give a shit.
I don't think it's a relationship at all. I think he's just trying to show off for her. He likes her.
It's really like different scenes point in different directions, because sometimes it feels like that, like like he's trying to like get with her or whatever, and then other times it sounds like they've been dating for 10 years and she's just fed up with him. Like there's no real rhyme or reason to like their relationship at all.
I just think because she looked infatuated with Clay from the beginning, and like literally like brought him over to the house to look like she was looking to hook up with Clay. And so, like, I feel like she went there just to hang out with her friends, but she had no interest in Trent at all.
That girl's a smoke show. I remember her from Road Trip Beer Pong. She was one of the main girls in that movie.
She was in Shark with James Woods.
No, I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the other girl. Was she in Shark? That was actually James Woods' other daughter. He had 2 daughters, both these.
Wait, you talking about the one that hung out with them first and sat down with them? When they were smoke, or
the girl that ends up hooking up with Trent.
Yeah.
Okay.
When they had that really long sex scene.
Yeah.
Is like taking hey guys, come out! You got to come out. All right, we're gonna keep going.
The scene where she's like dancing alone, and the 2 guys are drinking and whatever.
Peak
100%. That's the scene they're making fun of in Cabin in the Woods, right?
Oh yeah.
100%. It's the same.
Yeah,
thing.
I never
the
put
only
2
thing
and
she
2
doesn't
together.
do is
But that happens in movies all the time. It always that doesn't happen. In
The
real
way
life.
this was, yeah, no, it never happens in real life. But like the way it was shot, I was like, today, I was like, oh, that's what they're. I feel like they're specifically aping that in Cabin in the Woods because that was like
they weren't making fun of Crispin Glover.
No, because she's doing like a sensual dance. She's
sexually dancing. What he was doing was seize your robot,
which they tried to up in part 5, and it didn't quite work. As much as I love that scene too, but
oh yeah, that girl that did the cosplay when we were at Camp
Oh my gosh,
10
so
was
weird.
epic.
So good.
But at the same time, so again, Clay goes to the next place. He went to the old woman. Now he sees the redneck that trying to sell him weed, and he's like a complete asshole. But the line that I text you guys, like, what is that? Mummy fart?
It's, to be fair, it does sound like something someone would say in the old movies.
It's really it is funny, but it's just so
funny.
Random.
What does the grave
sucks.
guy sing? He said something
fart head.
Yeah, they think
fart
I'm
head.
a
Okay,
fart
so there
head.
you go.
All right. That's mummy fart. What is the thing of a mummy fart? It's just like you see like the little end of the tie go like float in the wind.
So so what's a fart head? What do you see? You see the top of the fart? Like there's a top to the fart and the bottom?
Or no, I would think, whoa, this is getting deep here. I would think it's a head full of farts. There's a lot of gas.
I was thinking of
a
fart head.
Yeah, you open your eyelids and you have like.
Okay, so a mummy fart is a mummy that farts.
Give that mummy fart line to like someone from one of the old movies, like a real charismatic character actor. It kills. This guy, it's about as good as a mummy fart.
Yeah,
I chuckled a little bit, but I was like, "Oh, this guy sucks."
Like somebody real angry with somebody with the finger point. Hey, listen here, mummy fart. Oh, maybe the greaser guys. The greaser guys in part 5. Hey, mummy fart. We gotta go to the movie.
And I'm not even commenting on the guy's acting because he's playing it clearly how they wanted him to do it. It's not a good character. It's just like this annoying. I don't even know. I don't know.
Yeah, not good. But he's trying to sell the weed he found like right away. Yeah. He goes, "Hey, you want some weed?" But dude, when we cut back, we kind of mentioned it before, but like Trent wants to be like cool to impress Panabaker and says like, "Oh, I'll let you borrow my Tahoe," and then and Ryan Hansen's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Don't take the boat." And like I said before, you know what I thought as soon as he said that? I'm gonna take the boat and we'll afford it. And you know what I thought? That's why I love you. Like she says the same line and like some other things. So they're pretty crazy.
And then how about the fact again, like I said, he doesn't respect him. He's driving like a maniac with his friend's car.
He's not gonna make it to the lake. He's gonna kill both of them.
And has never driven these back roads before.
Oh,
he's never driven a car before. He's like going left and right on the road.
He's driving like he knows this place like the back of his hand.
Ridiculous. Yeah. But again, that just shows you absolutely no respect for Trent at all. Like it's almost like maybe they all hate Trent, but they use him because he's the rich guy.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like when Chewie, Aaron Yu's character, goes out to the work shed and he's like, fuck. He's like, poor people call this a house.
Yeah.
And he's like picking stuff up. He goes, "You've never used this."
Yeah.
And he's just talking. It's this whole like commentary on like, it's this like this stupid scene, but it's this entire commentary on like rich people.
And they had a great line in the beginning, not to go back, but when the girl, when the two buddies that were looking for the weed were talking, and he's like, "What are you gonna do when you get all the money?" And he goes, "I'm gonna be rich." You know what rich people do? They relax. It's like, you know what? That is true. I bet if you're just like uber rich, you can relax. But then from now, so he's on to do his next house, Clay. It happens to be Trent's house, and this is no joke to me. This is like one of the most awkward exchanges. Mm-hmm. Somebody hands you a missing person photo. Could you imagine saying, "Oh, she's pretty"? That's weird. That is really weird.
Do you not also find it weird that she's inviting him into the house? This is perfect. This is a stranger.
That's pretty bizarre. And then,
she doesn't know.
It's a stranger on top of your boyfriend hates him. Correct, like even if your boyfriend's an asshole, your husband's an asshole, even if he's really not an asshole all the time and just had a bad situation, which is insane.
Ridiculous.
There's literally
she's also going alone with him in the woods. I mean, again, a stranger. Like she knows him for 10 minutes?
Yeah. So maybe she just wants men to fight over him.
She's just stirring the pot, inviting him in the house. No, I kind of get the angle of like, oh, he needs to use the phone or whatever, but still, like, you know what, buddy, just go to the next house. Like, you'll.
Yeah, but
find
that's
out.
not why she was bringing him in. Like, you know, like it had nothing to do with the phone. She wanted him to hang out because
She
they
wants
offer him a
that.
drink in 2 seconds as soon as he's in
She
there.
wants to run her finger.
Without a doubt.
She wants to run her fingers through that Padalecki hair.
They both have great hair. The two guys, very similar hair. Really, like they're obviously he's the nicer guy. Clay's the nicer guy, but it's very like similar. Like
I'm trying to get my Padalecki hair going.
yeah, yeah, but he's very hesitant, and then pretty soon he's talking shit. Like he's kind of, even though Trent starts it, he gets into it. And I wrote a note, and I don't know. I wrote this movie is kind of like a John Hughes movie. I don't know what it is with the relationships, but with Jason Edden, it was just very awkward situations. Just like, oh, this worked out. Oh, this character likes this guy. Oh, they're dating. Oh, I'm gonna go off with this guy. It was like a very weird.
Well, because again, Trent's character is like an '80s character, right? They don't. There's no one like that in the 2000s. No one acts like Trent. You know, like that was
simple.
That's an '80s, like the blonde hair. Like every bad guy in the '80s had blonde hair, and like the rich, you know. So that's what it was. He was very '80, like the type.
Simple. Yeah, it's simple. Just archetypes: A to B to C. Move the story along.
Yep.
This guy sucks. This guy doesn't. You know. This guy wants.
Speaking of guys that suck, the redneck guy, we get him.
Yeah,
he's smoking weed.
Also,
why?
Creepy.
Okay, so why does Jason go after him?
Because
my question.
Why?
Oh, because he's right there by the weed field, and that's where like Jason was hiding. I guess he's like in his...
Well, that's where Camp Crystal Lake is. Oh, I was thinking. I really thought Jason just thinks whoever's in his. Maybe he saw him.
Yeah, you're
getting the weed, obviously, right? He probably was like, "Hey, what are you doing in my place? I'm gonna get rid of you because maybe you saw my cabin."
I only say that because, again, like he's a local, right? He's been there for a long time, clearly. So, like, you know, a lot of times Jason kind of ignores the locals. You know,
sometimes the hitchhiker he kills. So there's some every so often that he's like, "Hey, you're in my way."
Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
Part
right
6,
though,
the couple hanging out, like, ooh, champagne. What's the occasion?
Yeah.
You're gonna get murdered. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't like couples having sex.
It's because the pot field is right by his place, and he's like, well, he might have found.
So maybe he's the guy with the machete that's guarding the pot.
Yeah,
Jason. He's hired by the cartel.
He got the machete. There you go.
They pay him in campers. They say, "Oh yeah, guys, this is the weed coordinates." Jason kills them all. Everything's fine. He's happy. We're happy.
That's almost part of the problem with this Jason is that we're trying to. Right now, we're trying to figure out his motivation for killing a guy, whereas the other ones were his motivation is just kill.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's like it's giving us a little too much.
Well, when you have a kidnap, when you have him kidnapping one, and then he's doing like it just seemed like, you know, trapping one with his leg, and like it just it seems like he's very methodic. You know, the way he plans, he plans.
If you took away like the bell system, if you took away all that stuff and you just had him with like a shack, and the girl chained up because she resembles his mother, that's
agreed.
Far less complicated.
Agreed.
And more like something that we might see in an older flick.
The bell system, I think,
because now it makes you question like what is his motivation for each kill, and that's not what this movie's about.
Yeah.
That's what none of them are about. Outside of like him going after Alice in part 2. That's literally the only time that he's going after someone specifically.
Right.
But that makes it fun. To think about in these silly movies.
I mean, I'm having more fun talking about it than I did watching it.
Yeah.
That's usually how it is, Egan.
And I didn't, you know what? I didn't hate watching it again. I was like, okay, it's knocked down another peg for me this time around.
Yeah.
You know what it really was? It was just I had we discussed off mic, but I was like, it's just a long day. It's sort of a cloying, clanging movie. I was like,
but it moves. It does move.
It does. It doesn't. I would say it does to a point. I think towards the end it kind of drags a little bit.
Correct.
But for the most part, it does move along. Yeah.
Correct.
Speaking of clanging, when he hears that sound above him when he's getting done licking the nipple of a centerfold,
so weird.
Really
also,
weird.
Actually, real quick, you mentioned was it Panabaker comments on the sister being pretty, right? This guy's a creepo. First, He goes, "Oh,
Yeah,
have you
licking
seen?"
up.
You know, he's like, "Oh, have you seen her?" No, he's like, "Have you seen her?" And he shows him the missing
Oh,
person's
yeah.
file.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "No, but I wish I had." I'm like,
Yeah.
So
Weird.
it's this
Yeah.
guy's missing sister, and you're gonna make like it's not. No one talks like that. Even
Right.
I've met real d-bags. No one says shit like that.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
That'd be tough.
It,
To
yeah,
hear
like,
somebody say that, I'd be like, ooh, like I'd heard for that. I'd be like, man, dude, you're an asshole.
Especially
Yeah,
to like the brother, like like if you're with your guy friends, whatever, and you sort, I mean, it's still douchey, but you're saying it to the one looking for his,
it's a
like,
one-on-one conversation.
yeah, that's
the direct link to
Correct.
this missing
Correct.
person. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not just like
No,
something.
listen,
it's not-
it's douchey any way you look at it.
Yep.
But again,
But it's
the
extra,
context,
it's next
yeah,
level.
absolutely.
And so you're hanging out with your buddies, and it's like, breaking news from NBC4 is missing college student, 21-year-old so and so. It's like, it's pretty odd.
What a piece.
And be, oh,
what a
dude, that's
piece.
pretty weird. What a weird. Hey, buddy. But the fact that he goes upstairs, he is in this barn, and he's got to have a lot of cool weapons, right? Or something, right? He grabs a croquet mallet, and he's going up for a sound, which is like, why? If I hear a sound in my attic, like, no joke, if I really thought somebody was in there, I'm not going up there.
Well, I mean, he might think it's an animal or something. I mean, he lives in the woods.
Well, yeah. He either thinks it's an animal, or he does think it's like somebody looking for the weed. But still,
Or his
it's kinda
girlfriend.
Like, you don't know.
I think
his girlfriend.
he thinks
You
his
don't know what
girlfriend's
you're-
real, like talks.
Ooh. You don't
Right,
know.
you think
who
the
talks
mannequin?
to her.
You think the man? Well,
No, he's
so
just-
did
I don't think it really talks, but he's having a conversation with it. Hey,
because
Gina.
okay.
He's a
There's
weirdo.
no
I don't
houses in sight. It's like there's only 3 houses in town: the old lady, his, and Trent's.
I don't
There's
think
no
he
other houses.
actually- I don't think he hears a voice talking back. He's just He's just a horny weirdo.
100%.
However, the croquet mallet is absolutely a
Why
shiny
is there a
reference.
croquet mallet there? I mean, that looks like a place that would not have croquet.
Oh yeah. Oh, who knows? Maybe the old mummy fart likes playing croquet back in the day.
that is
He
true.
did,
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I mean, 100%. It's a shining reference to the book, not the movie, obviously.
Well, there's mummy farts in The Shining.
No, the croquet mallet.
Oh.
That's where it's an axe in the movie with Nicholson. In the book, it's an oversized croquet mallet.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Bastion.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's a whole
Look
thing.
at that. Deep
Oh,
cut.
that's so much better. Can you imagine, like in the movie, he's using a croquet mallet with the blue on the one side and like it's so
knocking it.
stupid.
Well,
Yeah, it's
well,
so lame.
I won't get into it. There's a whole thing. It's an oversized croquet mallet for a reason, and it's not like colorful. It's like a big wooden.
Oh, jeez.
It's
Okay.
Moving along though.
Moving along. So he sees that we meet his ex-girlfriend Gina the mannequin, and he like talked about he dumped her, and he put her in like the loft, covered her, and Jason, man, when you see again,
Yeah, but he doesn't
see
seem
that-
like he's over. He doesn't seem like he's over her
Oh,
for dumping her.
did you check her out? I don't know. I would be tough to be over
You know what? Her boobs look better than the one in the beginning.
her. Both plastic. But when he slices the throat, it was
Oh
like
my gosh.
again, it was like almost like aha, like oh, when they show like the light on something, and when you see the mask, because he knocks the bag falls off his head, and then he looks down and he sees the mask, like it's like lit up.
The one little beam of sunlight coming.
Yes,
through
the
hole in
beam of
roof.
sunlight that pours in,
Yeah.
and it's like ooh, and I love that he looks in the mirror and he's like, oh, this is so me.
See, I
And
think
you know
in the
what?
old one, has he ever seen himself in the mirror? Like in any of the old
mean,
movies?
Oh, that's a good
I don't
question.
know-
I don't remember
I don't know
ever
if
looking
it's-
in a mirror.
Like I feel like he would freak out if he saw himself in the mirror. Like this is what I look like. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if like there's a scene like that at all, but he's
Well,
definitely.
I'm sure he
definitely
stares
is-
to the lake sometimes, waiting for campers.
He is, he's supposed to know what he looks like. That's why he's got the bag. That's why he eventually gets the hockey mask.
He's hideous.
And- yeah,
He can't
covering
go
it up.
public like that.
yeah.
He's murdering people, but he can't let him see this real face.
yeah.
Well, because it was the beginning of 3. He's running around without anything. We don't. I
Yeah.
don't think we don't see him. But
No, we don't. We just see like the back
Yeah.
of it.
Well, he's
Yeah.
shy.
yeah,
He's
he
shy.
knows. He knows how he looks.
A face only his mother could love. So maybe that's why
Exactly. Yeah.
he's always thinking about her. So now Willa is boobs out right away,
Mhm.
water skiing, And dude,
Wakeboarding.
Wakeboard.
Is that what it is?
Like a professional though.
Okay.
He's flying on that
Yeah.
boat, and she's
Insane.
like, yeah.
And
It's fun. It's a
the
good
music
scene.
is
It's well
getting
shot.
like the music is getting like a little intense, and you're like, wow, she's really going back and forth. And then he's just going a little too much, and she's swaying and swaying when she falls, and you're like, I forgot about the scene. But when he's like, oh crap, and he's like laughing after he like kind of dumps her, and then when he's turning around, but dude, that arrow, whew,
Out of the blue,
that
I
looks
wasn't expecting
great.
it.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I remember it, but I didn't know when, and it
But
really came in. And I was like,
Look
whoa.
how far away he was, though. Like the boat's in the middle of the lake. Perfect shot.
Olympics, USA. You want to win gold every year? Find Jason.
Like I would have felt better if like one was shot and like just hit the side of the boat, like just like the first one, and then hit him. Like no, the first one right away.
And they said like, hey, what the hell? If Ryan Hansen was like, the hell was that?
Yeah.
And
Like,
it keeps whizzing past him.
like accidentally hits like the fuel or something.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
But the boat's slowing down, and then
They didn't want to waste time. They're on a time
Yeah.
limit, so they had to get it done right.
Yeah.
And then they had to knock her out.
I like it though. I like it.
No, it was surprising. I didn't expect it
Yeah.
like right there. So
Remember, he's been hunting for his food all this time, so he's
And he's
That
been
is
hunting
true.
people because according to the lady in the other, like the Southern redneck woman in the trailer, she was like, well, yeah, he a lot of people have gone missing over the last, I don't know if she said 20 years, but so there's obviously other campers that have died since that original group because they know of Jason killing campers, and the mom was the one that killed in that first instance. So it happened since then. We don't know how many.
and then again, you're gonna
groups.
tell me people that live in that same state never heard the story, never saw the news, never saw anything about a guy that's killing people. You know,
It makes no sense because it's in the newspaper in part 4. It's on the newspaper cover.
right? Of course it is.
On that, it's a headline,
Yeah,
so it's like, all
I
right,
think
somebody
it's-
has that.
I think because in the originals it starts out as sort of an urban legend, and then you have like all the weird things going on at the camp and the lake over the years, and then by like part 3, people know Jason's name. They know about a lot of the deaths, and then after that point, he's like he's a,
So were
he's
there-
like he's a well known like serial killer slash boogeyman figure.
Were there deaths before part 1?
Yes.
Okay.
So he drowns or whatever,
Right.
quote unquote drowns. Mrs. Voorhees, I believe, kills the counselors that were supposed to be watching him,
Okay.
and then it jumps ahead to, I guess it's like the following year.
I got to see one again.
There's at the very beginning of the original, it's set in the 50s, and you see a couple counselors get killed then, and I think it's supposed to be like a year later. So she's already started, and then they talk about during like the whole beginning of the movie, like all these like weird things that happened, and it's like, is it bad luck? Is it Mrs. Voorhees doing stuff so that the camp can't reopen? Which is,
Right.
I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah, she never wants them to be
Right.
in the open ever again. She doesn't want
So
any
there's
other
like a-
boys.
there's basically a handful of deaths that occur before like the main part of the original.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now Willa, she has bad head wound. She looks over, she sees Jason. She like is blinking. There's blood in her eyes, water, and then she looks again, and he pulls out the machete to show it. And then that's when she like starts panicking. She swims under the dock, and dude,
wouldn't you swim the other way?
Maybe because she knows that she doesn't have long, so she has to get something that she can like, I don't know, maybe have a chance to like climb up on. But to hide under that, and when she hears it, I remember in the movie theater, the theater went ape shit because when when it goes through and hits her, and the best is when he's pulling it out, and it's like,
and it lifts her out of the water,
and she,
yeah,
like it's pretty funny, like watching it again after all these years. But yeah, oh my god. He doesn't mess around. There's, and then from here on out, it really gets going because after the terrible beer pong by Trent, and he won't shoot the boot again. I wouldn't openly do that, but if you agree to rules, if you lose 10 in a row,
well, That's
you
the
get
difference.
shut
If
out.
you agree to
You know
it.
what? You're dropping trow. You run around the house. It's the
You
rules.
do your own. Do
You
your
gotta
own shoe.
do it.
Don't drink from that.
Oh well, that sneaker looked awful.
Yeah, that nightmare set of Vans he's wearing.
Yeah.
Which the girl even comments that he's not wearing socks.
Yep. And he does it, and he does it terribly. It's like going all on the sides. It's like, all right, well,
well, I mean, honestly, if you're gonna do that, you might as well look like you're drinking it all, but let it spill all over you.
Yeah, like Stone Cold.
That's how you get out of it.
He drank like a sip of beer.
He's already supposed to be like shit faced at this point.
Oh yeah.
But then this is where so Clay and Panamaker at the same time that they're playing beer pong and Ryan Hansen's dying, they're at the camp. They go into like the counselor room. They go into like Jason's place and everything. And that's when like they're there and they see him and he's dropping off his victims. So he like collects them in a room.
But it also didn't look like it was that far away from Trent's house.
I don't think it was. It was pretty close. If you think about like when the Whitney runs later in the movie, it seems pretty quick, even when they leave. But it seems like they're inside for so long. Again, it's so hard to like continue. Like when we talk to Daniela, like it's so hard even filming a movie like keeping to like, all right, this is the way it should look in this scene or these different. When they come out, it's like, whoa, they were in there a long time. It's like almost like pitch dark. But again, the crazy things that he does, we talked about it, to not beat a dead horse, but when we see the setup and the bells and all that shit's fuck. It is crazy the first time. Like, could you imagine being in that situation, like finding a tunnel and like you're hearing everything go off and you see him throw the body down there? Pretty crazy.
Well, and Clay wants to hang around a little bit. Like she wants to get out of there, and Clay's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
Well, he felt the spirit of his sister maybe or something, but he didn't hear. Remember they heard a sound at the one point when he like tripped over the bell when they were leaving. They heard like a sound, and he like got down, and he just didn't hear it again.
Yeah,
because I think that's when Jason was pissed off, right? When Jason came home and he was pissed off and he was trying to like break things, but then that's when she pulled the locket out and he looked down and up and he was like, oh, okay, this is fine. Like, we're good now, babe.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you, Jamie. It's a cool concept, but it doesn't feel like the character at all.
Yeah.
No, like I said, if you took him out, like it changes the movie just to make him, let him wear the sack the whole time and don't call it Jason. I think it's a cool slasher movie.
Although at the same time, you know, it's a remake. The whole point is to kind of.
No, I get it. They tried something different. I just think, to me, it didn't really work for me. But
I think I almost feel like, all the lawsuit nonsense aside, I almost feel like while this one was pretty popular when it came out, it kind of feels like that's why there wasn't a sequel. It's like they almost didn't know what to do with this version moving forward. I'm sure they could have found something.
Look, you just wrote a whole brand new story, just like all the other ones.
How this movie
they have a little bit of leading from the other one.
How'd the movie do?
I think it did pretty well for like a February release, and then it did well on home video. And it's had multiple releases. Like the version I have is from the giant Scream Factory box set. I had it on DVD for a long time, but I think it did perfectly fine because it's a Friday the 13th movie. You're going to get butts and seats.
Well, what was the time frame between this one and the series, like the last one in the series, Jason X?
Oh, X was 01, right?
Okay, so it was.
Yeah,
so people were excited. Listen, if they came out with a new Friday the 13th now, it's going to do well, right? People are going to.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
It's like anything. Like same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. I think if they make a new Nightmare on Elm Street, the same thing. People will get excited about it, even though the other one was okay.
Yeah, I honestly think Elm Street's done. I think they've come to a point where they're like, we're never going to top Robert Englund. You know, it's such a different character.
Correct.
You know,
he has personality, so it's you
can't
replicate him.
Yeah, you get a stuntman who's a decent physical actor. Slap a mask on him.
Correct.
He's Jason.
Correct.
He's Michael.
Yeah.
He's whoever.
Correct.
I feel like they need to let Freddy go. But yeah, so like you're saying, yeah, Jason X was 01 and Freddy versus Jason was 03. So this was like 6 years later, and there's been nothing since.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is
So
crazy
Jason,
to think about.
No, it is wild. It really is, like, to have that much of a gap in the movies. But maybe, hopefully soon. You
know what? With all the reboots and like Come to America, Beverly Hills Cop, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. And I would.
Well, it's more of a legal There's a legal issue. That's
there is.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it's mostly been settled at this point, but it was going on a long time because now we're getting a TV series, like a prequel series from like, I think it's like A24, and like it's gonna be on like Peacock or something
for Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, about like Mrs. Voorhees.
I think it's gonna be about Jason. I think it's gonna be like, what was going on with him between his quote drowning.
Okay, we'll get some answers now. He was building tunnels and making traps.
We'll figure out, picking up bells and bear traps.
It sounds like it's going to be tied to the movies. It's not just going to be like a prequel in name only, where it's young Jason, but it's
that's pretty cool
now or something. That's what it sounds like.
Okay.
But outside of that, I think if they do a new movie, it's not going to be a sequel to this one. I find it unlikely that it's going to be like a new. I don't think it's going to, like, if it's a new reboot, they have to do something that's so not like this that it can't feel like a sequel to this if that's not what they're intending.
No, I think if they did it, they would go back to the old formula. I think that's what they would have to do.
I feel like they could attach it to the original series, kind of like how we had the reboot of Ghostbusters, didn't really pan out. They went back to the original series. They could do it. They could find a way to write it. But
yeah, bring all the final people back, get them together to hang out, and then Jason picks them off in the beginning. So now, so Jason, I love that he picks up like things.
Copyright.
He finds like the bag. He finds Clay's bag, gives it to the sister. Well, drops it in front of her. She opens it up, finds like the broken. Like
why did he do that? Was it just?
Yeah, I
was wondering why.
I don't know either. But they found like she sees her own photo, like, oh my god, my brother is looking for me. Here's the missing, and then seconds, man, she is like doing MacGyver, breaking it up, finds the metal, and picks the lock, and she's ready to go. But dude, to leave again, the amount of bodies that were in that room, that's more than the people that we saw so far. I didn't pause it and count, but he's killing a lot of people. Like, that was definitely more than what we saw.
And why is he saving him?
For a rainy day.
Oh, okay.
You never know. But he's a hoarder. He's a hoarder of dead bodies.
Clearly. Because he had about 6 canoes there.
There's a couple of the old movies where you see body parts. I think he's just stashing them. He kills them and he's
just hiding the body. He knows to hide the body.
Because even like up to like Freddy versus Jason, there's like that shack that he like wakes up in, and there's definitely like body parts in there.
All right.
But that chick in the Daisy Dukes, this is that scene. Like, this is when they're but you know, one thing that is really, I think it's COVID made me think different. But like, I remember that was like always a back in the day thing. It'd be like, hey, it's the end of the night. Let's open a bottle of wine and pass it around until it's gone, or a bottle of liquor. And it's like, I couldn't imagine that. And even seeing that, I get like skeeved out. It's so it's bizarre. Like, I'm seeing these guys just like do this age old tradition that I did all the time, and just to see it like now, I'm like, I can't believe I did that.
Getting old.
Like, how
you're getting old, dude. I pledged. I mean, the amount of stuff that we drank and I mean, like. You don't think about it when
after COVID and thinking like, oh, germs really mean like they matter.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix.
I wouldn't be passing a bottle with someone.
Yeah.
Now? No, of course not.
No, but I'm saying, like, if somebody at a concert would be like drinking Jack, some rando guy I never met, and he was, hey, you want a swig? I would drink it. But
you would?
Camp Blunt? Yeah, back in the day, yeah. Now,
no.
That I wouldn't have done. I would have shared something with friends, but not like some rando.
Oh no, not random.
But
what do you mean random? So you wouldn't share a bottle with a random, but if I was at somewhere and random fine. Random fine.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't share a bottle with
I know,
rando.
but I'm saying that's crazy. Like, even thinking about random hookups from like back in the day, like the things that could have happened. Like,
well, we're well past
Well past.
We're well past. Well, no, not even that. We're well past a lot of bad things that happen from random.
Yeah.
Let alone COVID. But
Yeah.
no, you're both right. It's age, and it's the age that we're in now. It's
Correct.
COVID. It's
correct.
We're in.
But her dancing in front of me might change it a little bit. But I do love the line that Chewie has no confidence in himself. That he says like he's got a better chance to fuck a penguin.
That kind of made me chuckle.
That was pretty funny. That's
such a random
thing
to
is.
pick, right?
It's a random
not
thing.
like
It's a good.
not like another
line delivery.
person like hey, a better chance of fucking Betty White or something, or like something like this is an animal that's not close by unless he's taken into a zoo.
You think Betty White's easier than the penguin?
No, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
She's down. I think.
Isn't
well,
she
not
dead?
now. She's dead now. She's down.
So she's much easier then.
Yikes. But yeah, so Chewie.
White.
So Chewie, I love Betty White. Chewie breaks the family chair. Trent's like, "Oh, you're an asshole." And the other guy's so stoned and drunk, and he's like, "No, I can fix it. I just need tools." Well, the shed's back there.
I believe him. I believe he could fix it.
So far away the shed.
Do you?
He's so confident. I believe he actually has the knowledge to fix it. Because even what's his face backs him up. He's like, "Look, he could do it. He could do it."
I don't think he can. I just think he's nervous because he knows everything is so delicate in that house that he's going to get ripped by his parents. So he has no choice.
I really do. I think he could fix it. I think he's like that's like his secret hobby.
Oh, I don't.
He doesn't have a
fixing
girlfriend.
old family chairs, old wooden chairs.
He took wood shop in high school. He knows what he's doing.
Shout out to Daniel Radakovich, South Plainville High School. So then we go. So he's off in the tool shed playing hockey. You have Trent and the hot chick to that one song. I gotta write that song down because I remember it was like a pal of ours, Billy Wilson. He loved that song and he loved that scene.
Wait. By the way, before that, so he can fix it, but he's high and he's drunk right now. You're gonna rely on him.
He should.
No,
I'm not saying he should in this moment, but I actually believe that the character,
I can believe,
probably sober.
Right.
I think he does know how to fix things. I think that's the
but
whole
you think Trent would feel comfortable with a drunken high guy fixing it?
He could be that perfect balance. It could be that perfect balance of drunk and high that they offset each other.
All right.
I've read about it in books before.
I grew up not doing anything around the house, right? I'm
drugs around
handy.
the house?
Just no. I meant like fixing stuff. I'm fairly handy just because from like figuring
but you didn't have
stuff
YouTube
out.
back then either.
Yeah, honestly, I rarely use it.
Oh really?
I
you
just
wing
go
it.
Nuts. I wing
Okay.
it,
Look at this guy.
which is not the right way to do anything. But my point is, you sometimes have to believe what a character is saying. So I think it's a mix of he does have. I don't know why this is the hill I'm dying on tonight.
Yeah, this is the hill that
I feel like he can fix it. He is drunk and high, but he could probably fix it. And Trent is so concerned with getting it fixed.
He doesn't
he's
care.
Like, just do it. Do whatever you have to do.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
And that's
So now-
then that gets him separated from the group. That gets him in the woodshed.
And then Lawrence is by himself and he has to do it, he's cranking out like the Stone Age to like the Sears like looking catalog.
And now he's gonna punch a clown.
He's
In the
gonna
middle of
punch
the room. In the middle of the room.
Yeah. But Trent, the balls on Trent, like this girl that is obviously in love with him, like probably has been that friend around that's always wanted him, but he's into the other girl for some reason. Because the other girl's harder to get and he likes the challenge and he can have the other girl easy. But how about like she's on top of him and he goes, "Oh, those tits are so juicy, dude."
Yeah, he remarked on them multiple times.
Yeah.
See, now she had real ones, and he literally remarked on them at least like I think made 5 comments.
He was.
He says he has the line of the movie,
and
your tits are stupendous.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that was the end, right? That was the third compliment he said.
No, that is it. It's either the first or the third. I think it's
okay
because I think then he goes on to like the juicy bits and all that.
Oh, it was okay.
Perfect nipple place and all that. But
Well, I think
it's something that me and my wife say to each other all the time because of this movie.
Stupendous.
I'll say, hey, I'm gonna watch the remake again. She goes, oh, your tits are stupendous.
Oh, nice.
That's
what a dumb word.
But when I was watching it today, I took a picture of it to send to you guys. That's what I was talking about before.
Oh,
But like my camera like had a delay, so I got a picture. I had the captions on, so it has the caption that says your tits are stupendous.
oh, that's
but
amazing.
I got the exact scene transition where it cuts. So it cuts from her point of view to his point of view. So the left side of the screen is her topless on top of him, and the right side of the screen is him laying down with a silhouette of her. So it's like her body on top of her body.
Oh my God.
I'll send it to the chat.
Yeah, do that. Well, you know what though? But it's almost like they're like, all right, we had about 2 sets of fake boobs, and we have to show the real ones. And really just keep remarking on them.
Your tits
Yeah, we have to keep
stupendous.
pumping it.
Because they didn't say anything about the other ones. Like no one referred the other ones at all. But this one had about 5 comments.
Yeah, and Jason liked them because he was peeping and watching them, and then just when the
another
light
peeper.
goes on, when the
he's always
light
peeping.
flipped on, that's when he turned, and then we get Chewie. He finds a hockey stick. This is a man's sport, and he's like playing hockey in there, doing like spit. He's doing like spins, like he's like a professional hockey player, and then. I do like the reveal of Jason's cool with the light flickering. That was really cool, and how hulking he was behind him. Because he must have been on Apple Box.
That came out of the blue. Like that was a good creep.
Oh, that was cool. Screwdriver to the neck.
There's some good classic horror.
Yeah,
like
that was good.
Like the light bulb.
Oh yeah, that was great. And then just that's over quick. And then you cut back. That's when it's like, whoa, this is there's a long sex scene going on because that's when Panda Baker gets there, Clay. Yeah. And then at the same time, dude, how like horrific is that for Whitney? She gets out, she's running, she sees the house, she's going to the window where they're banging. She's like, and then Jason just like snatches her up. He flies in, grabs her and just pulls her off into the back home. He puts her back home, chains her up again, and she was crying so bad because later in the movie when we finally see her again, she's like so cried out, like help me.
Yep. Well, she's been there 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I thought it was longer. But I guess
well, no, they haven't talked in a month or something. Over a month. Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if it was 6 weeks.
Which is 6 weeks,
months,
Doug.
But I feel like
6
months she'd be really weak.
Well, you don't think he's feeding her?
He could be feeding her good.
Oh, he's giving her probably like squirrel meat and stuff.
Or human flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or he's ordering ordering in. Just leave the pizza on the tree stump.
I'm of 2 minds with her escaping to be taken back again. On one hand, it is terrifying and it's heartbreaking that she gets away and he just immediately puts her back. But at the same time, it's clearly just like this. It's a sweaty script set up just so we can get to the whole cat and mouse section in the house, so we can just kill the rest of the gang.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm of 2 minds. Part of it, it's like, ooh, scary. Like, oh, it's heartbreaking. She gets away. And then the other half is like, oh, there's 20 minutes left to the movie.
Yeah. And at this point, this is when like Lawrence is like, I'm gonna go out there. And he goes and grabs a wok. That was his weapon of choice. Again, there must
but it had sharp legs on it.
It did.
It did.
Oh, well,
it had like these triangle legs, so it was
Oh my God. But when he goes out there and then he goes in, he finds his friend, his best. I do love that setup of like, you think it's in the freezer and then he falls down like right above it, scares the shit out of him. But dude, you're right. When he puts up a fight, and it's cool when they do that for anybody in these movies. And then he's like, all right, I gotta get the F out of here. And then when he runs away, but that axe throw.
Well, so not only the throw, but he doesn't even die from the throw. He dies when he falls backwards, and the axe goes deeper in his back. Like that was gross.
And then,
that was pretty good.
And then Jason stomps him.
Yeah,
to fully
because he was pissed. Because it was almost like Jason forgot about him, right? Doesn't he?
Well, no. He throws the axe.
Yeah,
he falls down, and then it's
No,
something
no.
else catches attention.
You see that he falls like on a log, and the axe slowly goes into his back further.
But then Jason comes up and stomps him to actually kill him because he's slowly, it's impaling him slower and slower. And
well, he wanted to give him a quick death. He didn't want him to like bleed out like that.
Yeah.
You think Lawrence, I get it. Sears catalog. You know, I get it. You're lonely, dude. I'm gonna help you out a little bit. I'm gonna take care of you. Pretty good. He's very impatient, and he's like, "Let me get rid of this guy. Let me keep going." But how is he teleporting in this one? Because from the next cut, he kills him out there, and then he's on the roof.
Yeah.
The next time we see him, he's on the roof.
How did he get to the roof?
That quick.
Climbs the tree like a cat.
Oh my god.
Ridiculous.
I did like Bree's kill. I liked her kill was good, and then the way her body was kind of like desecrated afterwards with
how'd
by
she die again?
She got thrown onto the. It was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude!
You think they do the old the switcheroo? She flings the shower curtain, thinking he's going to be in the shower, and was he behind her? Or
Next he was right behind her. It was a window shot, and
it was another one where like he just popped out of nowhere. Like it was kind of like a little jump.
Yeah, and slams her on top, slams her into the back of the door, and oh my god, dude! And then what's the name? Trent has a gun. He starts just firing a gun everywhere, and
sounds about right.
Oh my god! And then one thing I wrote down: why when they zoomed in on Jason the one time when he's holding her when he comes from behind, why did they make him look like he has googly eyes? His eyes look weird. Like they purposely made him. It looked like he's got deformed.
Yeah.
Well, he is. I mean,
even
when he takes his mask off, he doesn't look normal.
Yeah.
I know. It just looks silly.
Forget zombie Jason, but like even the first couple, he's got the one. He has like one normal eye, sort of, and the other one is like half shut and like droopy. And
yeah.
But he kind of looked like zombie Jason in this. I mean, he didn't look human.
Well, he's always had that, he's always had the deformed face. This he has like the long strands of hair, which is like a callback to part 2. Because after that, he's just bald.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, you got to shave it all off.
Yeah. You can't let it linger, right? People are going to talk about it around the office.
Yeah, I mean,
Michael Myers is talking to it with Freddy. Chucky's laughing at him.
He's always had the doofy eye, though.
Imagine if he had a cul-de-sac. Could you imagine if Jason walked around with a cul-de-sac, just walking around?
Oh man, I think it would be a little less intimidating if he had that.
It would be silly, yeah. You've been laughing at him, even though he still would kill me. I'd still be like, come on. But Trent is, I don't know what sound. I guess there was Jason making the sound in that room, but that's when he just starts firing the gun and he's shooting her body, and then he sees it and he's just like, whatever. He's like slamming everything in, like slamming the door open. But
he looked like he'd never shot a gun before.
Never.
No,
just daddy's
gun.
Yeah, daddy's gun.
But one of the coolest kills in this movie, and I think in the franchise, just the way it was shot, was the sheriff. Like that looked really amazing.
Why'd he come alone?
I don't know who called him.
Small.
Did somebody from that house call?
I thought someone from the house did call. I forget who. I could have sworn, but why'd he come alone? Like because if he came for a reason.
Right, yeah, they get like a call out before Jason cuts the power or whatever.
Right, but I mean, I'm assuming the call said we got a psycho killer here. You're gonna come by yourself,
or cut out before they could say it.
This is the part where I started to not pay as close attention as I was fighting with a 2-year-old who didn't want to eat her dinner. But
when the machete goes through the sheriff. And it goes through the door, and the camera like goes through the wall. Oh my god, That was cool. That was a really cool shot. I watched it a few times because it's like it's not saying people don't attempt things like that anymore. It just looked really awesome.
I feel like the kills were cool. I mean, in this movie, they definitely did a good job with the kills.
Yeah, it's that the look of Jason, and there's a few other pros in this movie. That's definitely what keeps this movie afloat with the fandom. That's what kept me really liking it for the most part, this whole time.
So now they're ready to bolt from the house after they see Jason. They go. Trent goes right to the car, gets on the radio to call. Bree's body gets thrown through it. And then it's like, shit, let me go. I thought his kill was awesome. Just the way it looked, the guy in the tow truck pulling over, and I was like, could you imagine in a world somebody had the balls to write Jason pretending to be a tow truck driver? Like, no words were spoken to make you almost like
all you saw is his hand. Like, who does that?
Oh,
he was like waving the guy over just on his hand. He didn't put his head out or anything.
But you know who that is, though, right?
Oh no, I don't.
Driver?
No,
it's the mummy fart.
That was the mummy fart?
Oh, he said
that's who. It's like his boss or whatever. His
really? He said it was a tow truck driver.
Well, no, because you see that truck at the barn.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
You know what? His license plate should have said mummy fart.
That'd be pretty funny.
if it foreshadows the death, because when Clay goes to the barn, the camera pans around everything and it pans around the back of the truck with the spikes on it, and then into the barn where the young redneck guy is working. When Clay shows up. So that so he talks about working for the old guy. He calls him a mummy fart, and that's who.
that's
whose truck it is at the end. Yeah,
but that's cool. The hesitation of Trent, and then he's like, "Oh, come on!" He's shining the flashlight. Jason comes behind him, and he puts the machete handle through his chest. Right? Is that yeah?
That's what it looked like.
And then he throws him onto the. And I love that the mummy fart can't start the tow truck. Yeah. He was nice enough to stop, and then it just cut out.
Just trying to get away.
And then he's like, and trying to go. And then just when he starts it is when Jason can impale the body on there to drive away. Could you imagine like getting home the next day and just like going right in your house to be like, holy shit, the craziest thing just happened. Not even realizing you wake up the next morning, there's a dead body on the back of your tow truck. Yeah.
Yeah, but he lives like, it sounds like he lives in the South. He probably just leaves it there. Like, you know, like other people have like all like he's raccoon tails. Got the dead body hanging there.
Walk around like your raccoon cap. I got a preppy blonde boy.
He's gonna be home in like 5 minutes, though. He's gonna be home in like 5 minutes.
He is close by,
and you know, he's got to know there's a dead.
Oh, of course,
he knows it got slammed on there.
Yeah,
he's got to go home, go hang out with Gina, because he's dating Gina now.
As the truck's going around the bend, you see Trent finally slump and die.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. That was a good scene. But again, I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the things that didn't make sense when they were trying to find, like, his motorcycle keys were gone. So Jason took the keys, threw them into the woods, thought about their escape. Let me get rid of them. And oh my God, dude.
So I would have liked seeing Jason on the motorcycle.
That would be cool. It would be cool to go so over the top in the next one when they get the opportunity. Just write all the silliest shit that Jason would never do.
If Michael Bay had directed this and not just been a producer, that Jason would have been on the motorcycle.
Michael Myers was in a car. I mean,
that's
Michael Myers.
Start.
He's a good driver.
Yeah.
Somehow, somebody taught him there.
We learned later on who taught him.
Who taught him?
Well, it's a spoiler. You find out in
the Doctor
part 5 or 6.
Oh.
Who taught him?
Well, maybe in 5 days. I don't know.
Because they had to write that in. They couldn't just who cares? They couldn't just let it go. Part 5 or 6.
That's funny.
Michael had driving lessons.
Oh my God, oh man. But so now Clay and Panabaker, they go to Jason's house, and his sister's locked up again, and they start hearing the screams, and then they finally reunite after all this time, and Jason's there. He's on his way, but when can you imagine seeing a hulky guy at the end of the tunnel when she looks,
the way they presented him,
he's here, and it's like, holy shit. And again, this is kind of a holy shit thing. Not like I thought. Sometimes it's with these movies, I think I know her, she's been in a bunch, so she's got to like make it. But like when she dies, when she hits a machete through the, come on, I got you. And I love for a second, because Clay probably was into her. He was like, oh no, I can, that'll stitch right up. Throw a Band-Aid on that. Machete like through the chest, and the sister's like, we gotta go. And it's like, wow, I was kind of shocked. I'm sure when I saw the movie theater, I was like, whoa.
Well, you thought 3 people were gonna make it?
I don't know. obviously historically that doesn't happen.
Like I knew, I know it's
yeah.
We've had.
No, I was gonna say like sometimes
but
there's been 3 and some.
Do guys make it ever?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Kevin Spiritus.
Actually,
Mark
the end of this
Corey
one,
Feldman. What do you mean? Multiple times Corey Feldman.
Yeah,
the end of this one is sort of an homage to the end of 2, because there's a guy and a girl at the end, and then Jason breaks through. But yeah,
I think it would have been great if the sister died after all this.
It's still that would have been shocking. But you know what? I think it is. I do like that. Panna Baker's character dies.
Oh, I love it because it was so shocking. I love when movies do that. Like, this is a character that kind of like.
It's still shocking. Even when you've seen the movie a few times and you know it's coming, it's still shocking because you're like, in the back of your mind, you're like, oh yeah, she's the final girl. You know, and she's the only person that's nice to him the whole movie, like, and then right at the end, bam, and then the look on his face, it's not just oh, we'll slap a Band-Aid on it. It's oh my God, like you're dead, and he's wrestling with that, and he's got his sister there pulling on him, and he's like, this girl just helped me this whole time, and now she's dead. I have to let her go because there's no saving her. She has a machete coming out of her chest.
I
have to let her go and run, and he doesn't want to. It's really good. I think it's a really good moment.
No, like, look, he was a good character, right? He was like a very few nice guy characters in these movies, and he was one of them.
Yep.
And you thought he was gonna die, because after that happened, I was like, does he make it? Because he gets like, he's getting his head smashed around. And I'm like, oh my God. And then it's just Whitney versus Jason. And I'm like, whoa, is this really going to happen? Like right now? But, man, but good fighting. Clay does not mess around, dude. The machete miss, he tackles him to the wall. So it's like pretty good what's going on. But there is another teleporting scene because Jason definitely pops up out of nowhere again. Well, because he's already
he also
in
teleported
a place
for Trent.
they're going to.
Didn't he already teleport to Trent? I mean, Trent was on the road. How did Jason get there?
Yeah, that was pretty quick too. That was.
So he does teleport,
but he's running. I guess it's a running Jason. So
that's
yeah.
But that bit of road, it's like right.
Yeah, I guess
edge of the property. I think of the cabin.
Well, he never gets tired.
It's probably like the end of the driveway.
Yeah, but the other ones, because they're running out of the house, they knock over like the oil lantern, the oil lamp, the fire starts, and then they go somewhere, and then Jason is somehow already in the next place, like sort of waiting for them. I don't know. But now we're at the end of the movie, so you get Clay and Whitney. They kind of do some callbacks to other movies, right? Using the use of the chain. Is that a little bit too like Jason Lives?
Hanging him.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's like part 3. He gets hanged in the barn.
And the same shot when they walk in. It's kind of that same shot they've used in a few, because they used it kind of the same shot in part 5. Like it's like that kind of like 45 up, and it's just really cool to see that. Like, hey, let's throw back to the old one with even like camera angle, or how it goes. But so what did you guys think of the ending of the movie? Like, not compared to other movies, but what would you say? Did you want more? Was there something you would change?
Are we talking the final shot or just the ending of
just the final,
the final bit of them on the dock and Jason bursting. So I like it because it's an homage to multiple of the older sequels where Jason bursts out at the end, and you're like, and the movie just ends, and you're like, well, maybe they survived, but probably not.
Yeah,
right. I like that there's a little bit of an open ending, or maybe Whitney got away and Clay has to die, but whatever. So I like it from that point of view, but it does at the same time, it does like, it's hard because like when you watch the old ones, because they've been around so long, you're just used to that being the ending.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you just move on to the next sequel and you're moving along, blah, blah, blah. When you get to this one and it's a modern film and you're used to, say, like a Scream movie where a bunch of people get away at the end, it's actually more shocking. It feels like everyone's dead. It feels like everyone's dead at the end and Jason wins and that's it. So I'm like of two minds, because it's like, well, maybe at least one of them got away ultimately, but probably not.
Yeah, but see, I do like it like that because it reminded me. It had an 80s feel to it. Like,
Yeah,
the ending, because you don't see it, like, there's no ending, there's no movies like that anymore that have an ending like that. So I thought it was pretty cool. That that was a big throwback, and I liked it like that.
Yeah, no, it was it was just good to see another Friday the 13th. Like, even just obviously us talking it, but me, 2009, I didn't have the opportunity to ever see. I didn't see Jason X in the movie theater or Freddy vs. Jason. Just I don't know why I wouldn't have. But
yeah, I
definitely this one, it was cool.
Reason.
Like, I remember just seeing thinking the opportunity to sit in the theater to see it was like for me pretty special. Now, Jamie, so that's Friday the 13th, 2009.
Yeah.
We'll go with our guest first, and not to go too, because this is a lot that we talked about. A lot of good stuff. Where would you rank this? Not to go through your full rankings, but where would you put this in out of the 12?
I definitely have it towards the bottom. I could pull up my letterboxd probably. I know I have it there, but I definitely have it towards the bottom.
Yeah.
I think the only ones I have underneath it are probably just because there's stuff in them I like, but like Jason X, Jason Goes to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Those are probably the ones I have under it.
Yeah. Jamie, what would you you could pull up if you want to pull it up, and it doesn't have to be the exact thing, but no, I was kind of getting that.
I was thinking the same too, and possibly 5. That's the ambulance driver, right? So
yeah.
But again, because 5 is still not, it's on the bottom of all the good franchise. I think everything else is better. So I would say it's close to 5, but then definitely below. I mean, X and Hell definitely below this one.
Yeah. I think that's where the drop is for me. Like X and Hell, it's like way.
Yeah.
Like, if I can add spaces, like do 10 more paces between,
the
10th movie and the 11th movie. But this one I would put in that like 10th spot, because I feel like all the other ones for me, there's rewatchability. Like, I can rewatch Freddy vs. Jason. For me, it's like, all right, cool. There's like a rewatchability to it.
I can rewatch part 5.
Yeah, I can, because I love the Ethel scenes, the Junior, the enchiladas. There's like those yell at the movie screen lines.
I feel like this Jason didn't feel like Jason, right?
Yeah,
so
I think agree.
When you watch the old ones, even though they're old, it just seems like the same Jason in every movie, right? This seems like a new Jason, which again, obviously it is a new Jason. So that's why I don't like, I prefer so much of the old one, just because it feels like a different type of Jason. I don't like this Jason. I like the old style.
Yeah. There's just no rewatchability for this. There's no characters that I would want to watch it. And the other movies, I'm like, oh, I know why I want to watch this for Judy Aronson, like in part 4, all of these different characters that are good characters. Like, they hit the characters that I kind of enjoy, that I like I said in the beginning. So I'm kind of saying like kind of the opposite. Like, I love that they did do that, but they're just not likable or memorable enough. Like the lines or the way I don't know.
Yeah. No. And even though I rank like 9 and 10 last, what those do have over this one is originality.
Yeah.
Like, as I have problems with those movies. I have big problems with those movies, but at least they're doing something more. Yeah,
they're shooting the moon, like trying something.
They're wild.
Yeah.
They're different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, whereas like I would watch this one over that for that familiarity of just like watching Jason kill a bunch of people. That's really the only thing that bumps it ahead of those, just because I don't like a lot of those choices, even though I can respect them trying to do something different. But yeah, so.
Well, yeah. So I hope you had a great Friday the 13th listening to this, or maybe you're listening to this on a Tuesday, August 12th in the year 2035. I don't know. But next up, we're going Killer. We covered Freddy, Killer. What was before Freddy? What we just covered just before Freddy?
Evil Dead. No.
Oh, so there's killing happening. That we're doing a lot of killing theme. We're going to continue it. Next, we're going to be talking about Free Willy, the killer whale. Free Willy 2.
Wait a second. Free Willy's not a killer.
No, I know, but he's a killer. It's killer.
He's a killer whale.
Oh,
It's
my
putting it
God.
together. Connections, New York Times, get on it. Play it.
Mhm.
It's addictive. Yeah, and for it, we talked to somebody that Jamie knows, the cousin of. He talked to him at a block party. They're talking sequels, podcasts. Boom, it gets brought up. And I talked to a new friend of the podcast, Neal Matarazzo from Pequannock, New Jersey, grew up here. So it's cool to talk to a fellow Jerseyan about his journey to Hollywood and how it all came to be. And great stories about the people he knows in the biz. Currently what he does, teaching acting in New York City on Tuesdays. So some really cool stories about that. Playing a cop a lot on TV. So it was definitely the conversations that I love, the origin story, roles in the career, but it was also like about the business too. He talked about the commercial work prior to, because he was out in LA 4 years before he got a movie about Bigfoot. And then he goes from that, where people are like having to beg for their per diem every day, to like Free Willy. When he got there, they gave him an envelope full of cash just for his per diem.
Awesome.
So Neal was awesome. I can't wait to talk Free Willy too. I have the VHS somewhere, so maybe I'll watch this one on VHS. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.